Hello there. I'm Brittany Frazier, and I'm a senior in Savannah State University's history program. Today, I'll be presenting a documentary for Dr. Adams' History 3909 course in the historical readings of Savannah. In our review topic today, we will be discussing the American Civil War, focusing primarily on Savannah and William Tecumseh Sherman's involvement. I'm here at Forsyth Park, near one of the oldest Confederate monuments in Georgia. This monument was dedicated to deceased Confederate Civil War soldiers in 1875. The Ladies Memorial Association funded and employed a Canadian architect, Robert Reed, to construct the monument. Items like a copy of Georgia's Ordinance of Secession, the Seal of Confederate States, pieces from Fort Sumter's flagpole, and buttons from memorable war heroes' Confederate uniforms were included in a time capsule at the monument's base. The memorial was constructed in Canada and shipped to Savannah, Georgia by a British ship, avoiding association with northern states. The LMA was formed after the Civil War to recognize Confederate soldiers who sacrificed their lives to maintain the Southern way of life. The Unite the Right rally in 2017 in Charlottesville, Virginia, provoked disdain for Confederate symbolism throughout America. Because of racial tension promoted by the event, Savannah City Councilmen renamed the monument Civil War Monument, and they are also considering its relocation. If you ask most people what caused the American Civil War, their answer would commonly be related to slavery. While the Emancipation Proclamation directly resulted from the war, it was never the primary cause. The Union used promises of freedom to enslave Americans against Confederate states for two reasons. The first reason was to encourage seceded states to rejoin the Union, and the second was to later eject the economic advantage of free labor from the South. Nevertheless, alliances with enslaved populations proved beneficial to Union armies because they were able to gain support that gave them advantages during battles. Presumably, there are multiple causes for the American Civil War, like trade tariff disagreements, the pending emancipation, and political discourse between the North and the South. Let's view the cause as a conjunction of all these things. The northern states and southern states divisions was developed over a pending revolution in North America's economy. Union states were eager to transition into a country built on industrialization. The South desired to maintain old traditions of wealth built on agriculture and free labor from enslaved populations because it was vital to their economy. Because both regions were built on different economic means, neither could compete with the other's development industry, but they were a direct conflict to each other. The North did not possess the geography to develop from agriculture, and the South did not have the infrastructure of factories for production. The trade tariffs proposed by Northern senators would help them lower the prices of their products to encourage the purchase of American goods instead of imports. Still, it would negatively affect the South's international trade with European markets by causing foreign marketers to raise prices on their production goods. In 1880, President Abraham Lincoln was elected to office. He believed it was his duty to preserve the Union of States in North America. During his inauguration speech, Lincoln proposed peace or war because Southern states were threatening to secede from the Union due to the recent migration of foreign laborers. Southern senators were concerned they would not compete with the North's growing population and Senate seats in government. They were worried their voices would be silenced. The state of South Carolina was first to succeed to the Union, and it was followed by Mississippi, Florida, Alabama, Georgia, Louisiana, Texas, Virginia, Arkansas, North Carolina, and Tennessee. After the states succeeded, the Confederacy was formed in Montgomery, Alabama by the first 6 seceded states. On April 12, 1861, the Union attacked Fort Sumter at Charleston, South Carolina's harbor, and the American Civil War had begun. This standoff between the Confederate Army and the Union ended with South Carolina's victory. Here are images of Union generals Ulysses S. Grant and William T. Sherman. Grant and Sherman are longtime comrades who are both from Ohio and attended military academy at West Point. Once the American Civil War began, Sherman, who was previously a peacetime Army veteran, reenlisted. After his first year in Kentucky, Sherman began having psychotic episodes of being attacked by Confederate armies. One visit from the Secretary of War, Simon Cameron, declared Sherman mentally incapable. Rest back home in Ohio with Sherman's wife and the support of his longtime friend Grant helped him regain his mental capacity. Grant was adamant in Sherman's participation in the war. Historians quote Sherman's declaration. Grant stood by him when he was labeled crazy. He stood by Grant when he was labeled a drunk. Now we stand by each other in all things. Sherman would go on to help Grant conquer the Confederacy by helping him dismantle Atlanta, the heart of the Confederacy. William T. Sherman was affectionately known as Uncle Billy by his army, but his character was often debated by Northerners and Southerners. Sherman was relentless in his pursuit of victory for the Union, and he vowed to make Georgia howl. Because the city of Atlanta was prevalent in railway transportation, factories, and production, they were considered the heart of the Confederacy. War supplies for Confederate states shipped through and from Atlanta. The port in Savannah was critical in receiving war goods shipped internationally and mainly from Britain. These two major cities made Georgia a direct target for the Union. In May of 1864, Sherman's pursuit to Georgia began as his armies encountered his opposing Confederate generals Joseph Johnston and later Jonathan Hood. He ordered James McPherson to dismantle Johnston's army, but his procrastination allowed the troops of Johnston to escape. A war strategy of strategic withdrawals by Johnston allowed Sherman to proceed into the city of Atlanta in August of 1864. General Hood attempted deferring Sherman's men to Tennessee, but they were focused on their goal of dismantling the heart of the Confederacy. Instead, Sherman ordered his forces in Tennessee to battle with Hood. The Union captured Atlanta in September of 1864, and when Sherman departed on November 15th of 1864, he ordered the city's resources, rail yards, and production factories be burned and destroyed. Sherman's 60,000 men march to the sea began on November 15th of 1864. Sherman and his army left a path of destruction, stealing cattle and goods and burning down the homes of resistors. He believed to achieve the victory of the Union, he needed to make Georgians abandon their support of the Confederate armies. In their conquest to capture the vital port of Savannah, the Union Navy needed to destroy the city's 3 defensive ports. The Union Navy attacked the first port in April of 1862 at Fort Pulaski. The Union took the fort over after 30 hours of battle. The capture of Fort McAllister near Richmond Hill, Georgia, came second, after failed attempts to capture the port by Union naval fleets. Sherman ordered General William Hazen to lead his men in a land battle against the fort. The fort was taken after a day-long battle against the massed Union Army on December 13th of 1864. Fort McAllister proved to be the Union's greatest challenge due to its sturdy construction. The fort was protected by earth barriers, making it extremely difficult for the Union's Navy fleet to penetrate or damage. The final fort to be taken was Fort Jackson off the Savannah River, 3 miles east of the city. Before Sherman and his men arrived, the soldiers abandoned the fort, leaving the town completely vulnerable. The city was captured on December 21st of 1864. Sherman presented the city of Savannah to President Abraham Lincoln as a Christmas gift. We are outside the Green Meldrum House, General William T. Sherman's headquarters. Though Confederate loyalists feared Sherman, the black enslaved population was quite fond of his mission. They viewed Sherman as the second Moses, coming to deliver them from captivity. Here is where Sherman met with Savannah's black leaders discussing their views on the war, their pending freedom, and constructing his Special Field Order 15, later known as 40 Acres and a Mule. The black leaders outlined their desires for freedom, education, and land. Sherman appointed General Rufus Saxton to grant their request. Sadly, their land was confiscated and redistributed to Confederate owners after President Andrew Jackson was elected to office. Today, the house is owned by St. John's Episcopal Church. Thank you for viewing my presentation. In lieu of recent debates on Confederate monuments and racial concepts in America, please remember we cannot erase our history, but we can review and reconvene our history's true meaning. Considering the racial tensions ignited by current events, now is the time for American historians to implement revisionism into the American Civil War concepts, because miseducation can often lead to misinterpretation. We cannot fully grasp our history if we remove pieces of its puzzle. Until next time. Oh wait, before we go, as for the debate on William T. Sherman's character, let's just say that it was war, and in war, there are always casualties.